Let's be honest, money isn't exactly intuitive. I mean, if it was, wouldn't we all be rolling in it? Today, we're going to break down 12 pretty brutal but absolutely essential money truths. These come from author Tim Denning, who spent 12 years just obsessively learning about finance. Okay, let's dive right in. And this quote right here really sets the tone for everything. The journey to actually getting good with money, it's not some straight line going up. Oh no. It's usually paved with, well, a lot of mistakes, some pretty painful losses, and lessons you learn the hard way. Denning says those are the moments where you actually learn something. And for him, the price of that education was steep. We're talking more than $1 million, just gone. Multiple businesses that went under, even personal bankruptcy. So yeah, these aren't just some abstract ideas from a book. These are truths that were forged in a serious financial fire. So where do we even begin? Not with picking stocks or buying property. Nope. It all starts right up here, inside our own heads. The first, and honestly, the most important battle you're going to fight for wealth is all about your psychology. And here it is, the first brutal truth. It is so easy to point fingers. Blame the billionaires, blame the system, blame the politicians. But you know what? Hoping someone's going to swoop in and rescue you, or just feeling sorry for yourself, that's not a financial plan. The only thing that actually works is taking full responsibility and learning how this whole money game is really played. Okay, here's a huge trap that so many of us fall into. Your income goes up, and what happens? Your spending goes up right along with it. But what's the real price you're paying? It's your time. See, the ultimate luxury isn't the fancy car or the big house, it's freedom. An expensive lifestyle, it's like a chain. It forces you to work more and more just to keep it all going. And hey, if you do manage to build some wealth, there's a whole new danger waiting for you: your own ego. Denning gives a serious warning here. Being truly poor is when you're rich, but you talk down to people. The whole point is to win the money game without losing your soul. Stay humble. All right, so we've covered the mindset stuff. Now let's get into the next big piece of the puzzle. You gotta understand the world you're operating in, the big economic systems that are shaping your finances whether you realize it or not. This slide right here breaks down something that is absolutely critical to understand. Inflation isn't just about prices going up. It's a force that's actively making the gap between the rich and everyone else even bigger. So why is that? Well, it's because wealthy people tend to own assets. Stocks, real estate, things that actually grow when there's inflation. Meanwhile, if you're just saving cash, that money is losing its buying power every single day. And this quote just perfectly captures how weird our brains are when it comes to investing. Think about it. A store announces a 50% off sale, and we all rush over to grab a bargain. But when the stock market has a massive discount sale, which we call a recession or a bear market, what do most people do? They panic. They run for the hills. The wealthy see these moments for what they really are: a once-in-a-while opportunity to buy great assets on the cheap. We've all heard it, right? Investing is risky. People love to warn you about the market crashing and how you could lose everything. But is that really the biggest threat to your financial well-being? Not even close. This list right here, this is what's truly risky. Having zero assets to your name. Being buried under a mountain of debt, relying on a single paycheck from a job where you could be let go tomorrow. That is risky. How come nobody's talking about that? And a huge piece of that risk puzzle comes from our culture's total obsession with debt. Buy now, pay later is just normal now for everything. It's a really dangerous way of thinking that makes it seem okay to live a life you can't actually afford. And it's a massive trap. Okay, so we've talked about the mindset. We've talked about the system. Now for the most important part. What can you actually do about all this? Let's get into some real practical steps you can take to grab the steering wheel of your financial life. In a world that's changing so fast, with AI and automation shaking things up, not all skills are going to be equally valuable. But there are some skills that are basically timeless. They're abilities that will always be in demand, and they can pretty much guarantee you'll never be broke. And here they are. Number 1, sales, the ability to persuade someone. 2, writing or copywriting, which is the skill of communicating ideas in a really clear way. And number 3, psychology, just understanding what makes people tick. I mean, think about it. If you can persuade people, communicate with them, and understand them, you can always create value. And if you can create value, you can always create an income.
The big idea here is that you've got to stop waiting around for someone else to decide you're worth more money. As this slide shows, the corporate way of getting a raise is usually the slow, frustrating song and dance. The real power move? Create your own income. Start a side business where you get to make the rules and your hard work actually translates directly into more money in your pocket.
And you know what? It might be way more doable than you think. A $100,000 pay raise sounds like a huge, intimidating number, right? But just look at how it breaks down here. With the internet giving us access to billions of people, finding just over 1,600 of them who are willing to pay you $5 a month for something you create, well, that's not impossible at all. Now, you've probably heard this advice a million times. The way to get rich is to be super frugal. Skip the daily coffee, pinch every penny. Danin has a name for this. He calls it the pleb mindset. It's a worldview that's totally based on scarcity. Because here's maybe the most important brutal truth of them all. In a world where prices are always going up, you simply cannot save your way to being wealthy. There's always a limit to how much you can cut back, but there is no limit to how much you can earn. Your focus shouldn't be on cutting back, it should be on growing. It's about abundance. And we want to leave you with this last thought. It's powerful, and honestly, it's pretty counterintuitive. The one thing that most of us see as the ultimate financial security, that steady, reliable paycheck, that could actually be the biggest thing holding you back from building real wealth. Why? Because it makes you comfortable. It keeps you from taking the kinds of calculated risks that lead to massive growth. Look, at the end of the day, the economic system is what it is. It's going to keep running, with or without you. These truths, they're not meant to bum you out. They're meant to wake you up and give you power. Now that you understand the rules of the game a little better, there's really only one question left. How are you going to choose to play?